So, on Bellringer 24, it says convert each decimal to its fraction form, show your work, simplify when possible. So, Aaron, since you weren't here yesterday, how is this fraction different than the ones that we did on Monday? It has repeating numbers. So when we have repeating decimal, put your pencil on your decimal point, circle all of the numbers to the right of the decimal, just like before. Are we gonna use these numbers to the right of the decimal as the numerator or denominator? Are these gonna be the numerator or the denominator? Numerator. Just like the other way. Now we need to figure out what we need to use for the denominator. What place value is the 1 in? What place value is the 9 in?
Hundreds.
So it's in the hundredths spot. Subtract 1, and what do you get? 99. Everybody check and make sure we did not mess up. So in your calculator, take your numerator and divide it by the denominator. Do that. It's not an option, honey. Pick up your calculator and do it. Did that work?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Why do we subtract by one?
Because it has a repeating decimal. If we just use the place value, do 19 divided by 100 and see what you get. Yeah, so that just gives you that, but we want that, right? So the way that we can get this to be repeating is take your place value and subtract it by 1. And there's a big, long, drawn-out way that I can show you algebraically to do it, but that always works if it's repeating decimal. Okay, problem B. Is this a terminating or repeating decimal, everybody? Repeating. So put your pencil on the decimal and circle everything to the right of your decimal. Is the numbers to the right of the decimal going to be the denominator or numerator? The numerator, thank you. And what place value is the 5 in? Tenths. So this is in the tenth spot. Subtract. So since this is repeating, am I going to subtract 1 or am I going to use it? Subtract 1. And then that will simplify. But I do want you to check in your calculator and see if we did this right. So take the numerator and divide it by the denominator. So do we want 0.5 or do we want 0.555555555? Yeah. The long one? Yeah. Did it work?
Yeah.
So is there a way for you to check your answers? Problem C? Yes, sir.
What do you mean by add one? Like you just add the one?
Add, what do you mean 1?
You said, do we take away or add on?
Or do we take away 1 or do we keep the place value? Because if this is place value, do we keep it or do we subtract the 1? If it's terminating, we just keep the place value. If it's repeating, we subtract the 1 from the place value. So problem C, is this a terminating decimal or repeating decimal? Repeating, so put your pencil on the decimal and then circle everything to the right of it. Use all of the numbers to the right of the decimal as the numerator. Thank you. And what place value is the 4 in? Thousandths. So am I going to use the place value or am I going to subtract 1? Subtract 1. Now, put it in your calculator and check and see if that worked. Everybody take your numerator, just say that, me too. Take your numerator and divide it by your denominator. Do you get 0.234 or do you get 0.234234234? Yeah. The one that repeats. Go ahead, RJ.